Hey everyone, welcome to Z's Bees. It's been a while since we've had a video. So we're down in the bee yard, and today what we're going to be doing, each one of these colonies, there's 5 down here, are double deeps. So I want to do an inspection, and then what we're going to do is we're going to prep them for splitting, which means ideally we'd split all 5 of them. Now I don't know that all of them are going to be strong enough to split, but we're going to look at it. So what we're going to do when we split, and I'll explain it as we go, we're going to do an inspection, and I want to find enough brood that I can equalize the brood. And I want to make sure that the queen is in the bottom box. I'll put a queen excluder on that box, put the other one on top. If I can't find the queen, I'll shake all the bees to ensure that the queen is down there, and I'll put the brood on top. Over the next day and a half or so, the bees, the nurse bees, the real nice gentle ones, will move back up into this box, and then we're going to use a double screen bottom board, which again, it's kind of getting a little bit complex, but essentially we're trying to make 2 hives out of 1 and also prevent them from swarming. They're really strong this year. We're a little bit out from the strong nectar flow, so I just want to make sure that we don't lose a whole bunch of swarms. So let's dive into it. Take a quick glance on top for the queen. This hive has gone through almost 2 pounds of pollen patty. I don't see her there. So I'm going to take this top board, get my hive tool, take this pollen patty, just set it aside for now. So now what I'm going to do, we're going to start to inspect them. I see I have a drone comb in here. Let's see if they're drawing that out at all. Nope, not yet. Okay, that's all right. That gives me some work room here. Okay, haven't done anything on this frame yet. We get 2 of them out of the way, and now we can go in here and start to kind of look and see what's happening. So I see that they're storing nectar, there's some pollen. I don't see any eggs on this frame. Backside drawn out really nice, but I don't see any eggs or pollen. So now I want to see what we have here. And we have a whole bunch of different stages here. So Matt, if you can kind of zoom in, you can see the eggs have hatched. They're in the larvae stage. We'll also keep an eye out. Up in here, if you get really close, actually really looking for the queen on this frame, you see eggs. They're all different stages here. So this will be a good frame to keep in mind. So we have a queen on this, or in this hive. Okay, very good. We have 1 frame of brood here. So as I'm beginning to plan a split, I have 1 frame of brood. I have another frame of kind of eggs and larvae over here. I'd love to see another big frame of brood here. Perfect. Very good. Okay, I see some drone stuff, drone comb down below. So again, if I don't split this hive, they're going to explode right before the nectar flow, which is pretty common, and they're going to end up wanting to swarm. Nectar. So again, this is a big frame of eggs and larvae. Our queen should be around here somewhere soon. All right, so I could not find the queen. So what I had to do is shake every single one of these frames in the upper box. I had to shake them into another box to ensure that my queen is down below. So because every one of those has been shaken into this box, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a queen excluder, because I know now that she's in the bottom box. The queen can't fit through here. And now I'm going to put all the frames back into this upper box. What I also did is I balanced out the brood so that I have good brood in the top and the bottom. So now what I'm going to do, this one has eggs on it, so we're going to move this one over just a little bit. You see here, none of these have bees on them because I had to shake them. Again, don't have, but you get a good idea of a brood pattern. These were all laid by the queen that is now in the bottom. And so what I'm gonna do in a couple days, here's a frame of all hatched out eggs, both sides. So in the coming day, all those nurse bees that take care of the brood are gonna move up. And so they're gonna take care of all of this. It's a good empty frame there. Okay. And lastly, we got a food frame here. So I'm actually gonna put that one right here. So now, just to explain, the queen is in the bottom box. There's a queen excluder. I know the queen's in the bottom box, even though I didn't see her because I shook off every one of these frames. The brood gives off a scent, which means that now all the nurse bees are gonna say, we need to go up and take care of that. Those nurse bees are gonna come up into this box. In a day or two, when I'm able, I'll come over and I'll put I could either just move this top box and introduce a queen, but what I'm gonna do is introduce a double screen bottom board because there's not a ton of bees, and I wanna use that warmth, and I'll explain that more as we go. But essentially now, I'm gonna cover this thing back up, just as is. We'll give them that little bit of pollen patty, and they didn't have a ton of food there, so I'm gonna give them some sugar water back. And this hive is prepped now for splitting. So now we just have to do that 4 more times. They've gone through almost 2.5 pounds of pollen patty. This is a formula that I created myself. There's a lot of instructions online on how to do that. What I want to do is I'm going to first give them a good inspection, see if we have swarm cells. Otherwise, what I'm going to do, go through, try to find the queen, make sure she's in the bottom, put the queen excluder on, put this back on top, come back a few days later, and we'll go from there. So let's take a look. Some nice fresh brood. Looking for the queen. And I'll try to turn so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So I see drone brood, that's the bumpy stuff on the bottom. Nice smooth brood, a whole bunch of eggs. That beautiful pattern. So I'm gonna really look for the queen hard on these frames because this would be an ideal location for her to be at. And of course, because I'm splitting and I need to find the queen, that makes it 10 times harder. I'm going to transfer these 2 boxes. I have an empty box here. I'll check a few frames on the bottom. If I see the queen down there, I'll plop that queen excluder on and we'll go from there. So again, don't be afraid to handle your hives. Double deeps can kind of sometimes be intimidating. So you see, it kind of gets intimidating. You see all the bees that are flying. They're calm. Just work through it. So again, I have my outermost one. This would be a frame of honey from last year. It doesn't look like they've had to go into that at all. The magazine cover frame. My goodness. Okay, so now I'm 0 for 2. Couldn't find either queen, so now I need to shake these frames off. So this one I already shook, but I should really move it back to the other box. It's unlike the queen would climb, but this way I know. So I shook these 2. I'm gonna shake every single frame. I'm gonna glance quick. Sometimes you spot it right away. Nope. So now, good gentle shake. Check out the remaining bees. Not the queen. Keep moving along. Quick look. Quick look. I don't see her. Another good shake. I'm not slamming it down. And again, move it over. I need to make sure that my queen is in the bottom box. So again, look for the queen. real quick. Take one good shake. You see these, all these frames of brood. Oh, I thought I just saw her. Nope. Now I'm seeing things. Good shake, good shake. Check the remaining bees. Put it back and move along. See a lot of bees clustered on this one. Okay. Here, and just to be sure, just check over this last one. Now, I want to smoke them down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to give this, scrape some of these bees down on the wall. I want them to go down. I'm just looking to make sure that I don't see her crawling on the wall. I don't see her anywhere in there. So now I'm comfortable. I can lift this up, put this on. And I'm caught on the work. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to take all my frames, give it another look. There's just a cluster of bees in the corner. And I'll start to move everything over. The amount of bees that flew back, already smelling that brood, is impressive. And that's the same thing that'll happen when they smell it above them, is they'll move back up. They won't think they're queenless yet because it's only a queen excluder in there. Okay, there's a little stash of bees here. All right, I always like to show what it looks like right when you open a hive. So I haven't been in this one in a couple weeks. Okay, now right away off the bat, I noticed there are not as many bees as the two over there. So we'll have to make a decision if they're strong enough that we want to split them now or wait. They also have not eaten as much pollen patty, and you see a little bit of the mold on the pollen patty. That's where the frame was. So let's see what's going on. Maybe they're good. They're just a little bit slower to get going. But I only have, where the other ones I had about 7 or 8 frames. This one I'd say there's 4. So this might be one that we take a look. This was probably drawn last year. As I said, I like to set that first frame aside, give some room to work. A couple of these are empty frames, nothing's been drawn yet. Give myself even a little more room to work. Nice calm demeanor on these bees. Nothing here. Looks like they're drawing some fresh white comb on this one. You can see on that side. And this one, since I'm not going to split them yet, they're not strong enough, I guarantee we'll find the queen somewhere. Just a hunch. This works out good. I have 4 queens coming. This doesn't mean much, but just making sure. Don't see the queen there. Another beautiful pattern, nice pollen on the outside. This is what it should look like: brood, pollen, nectar / honey. Okay. These were drawn frames that were put in this top box. Light yet to split. Okay. So the fact that I saw eggs, and I'll show you the frame that made me see that. So if you want to go, Matt, zoom as much as you can with that sunlight right in there. A single egg laid in each one. That just shows that it's a queen, not a laying worker. A lot of times laying workers will lay 4, 5, 6 eggs. It doesn't come out. And I saw that obviously there was brood in the other frames, but I know that there's a queen in this hive. So the best thing for me to do at this point, I think, is going to be to button them up and move on. These ones, I'm not going to split, at least at this point. All right, every once in a while you find a hive and they got ants. And let me just show you this, the little tiny ones. So I'll probably switch out this board here with one of my new inner covers that I made. These really aren't doing anything. They're not in the hive. When I open this top, I'm sure that the bees will kind of freak out a little bit because of how much little invaders there are. So I'm just gonna smoke a lot of these away, just so when I open this feeder, they're not all over. We'll try and get some of them away, but we'll watch the bees' reaction. You see that immediately they probably start kind of going crazy. So we'll get this cover off right away. Try not to get covered in ants. All right, I'm liking the population in this one. Looking for, because of all the ants, I'm just gonna put most of those in there. I'm gonna take this cover, give it one more good look for the queen, and I'm gonna set this cover aside to let those ants be free. Get some of those ants off. Okay, so now again, they haven't eaten the entire pollen patty, but they're definitely on it. I think this is probably borderline, depending on what the bottom box looks like on splitting. All right, this is a frame of food and nectar. There we go. That's what we like to see. Beautiful laid, smooth brood. Drone comb on the bottom. Find a queen. Another good frame. This is one of the first hive bodies that I built. You can tell by the we'll set that there for now. Very good population here. So if I use a double screen bottom board, remember the heat from this hive will go up. So even if I'm a little bit light on those splits, that's the benefit of those double screen bottom boards. And I'll explain those in a few days as to how we use those. She likes to lay drones. All right, if you're keeping track, we're 0 for 3. 0 for 4 finding queens. Let's see if we can do it. Again, by this method of splitting, I don't have to find the queen, which is really nice. So We'll see what our population looks like in here. Okay, so I think for the first time ever, and it's no big deal, I was 0 for 5 on finding a queen. Had signs of queen in each one of them, so they all have queens in it. But I've ended up deciding to split 4 of them, which is perfect because I have 4 queens. So the way that it worked out though, is this hive here was definitely not ready. But we're in this final hive, we're closing them up. This is the new inner cover I made. Just got 1/2 inch board on the inside. And the reason I do that is because I feed through my inner covers. So when you have one like this that just has 1/4 inch, you see that it has kind of a bow in it. So this will be good for emergency, but this is a little bit better for the bees to be able to come up and feed. So we'll put that over the top. And every time I see a little cluster of bees like this, I like to just move them around and make sure that we're not rocking with a queen underneath there. So that goes here. This cover is nice because if a bee's underneath, there's this gap and they can get out. So with that said, this is going to be a longer video because I want to walk you through the whole process. We're going to come back in 2 days. We're going to put in a double screen bottom board in each one of these hives. We're going to introduce a new queen. After about a week of that, because I want that warmth, we can then move these 4 hives to a different location down here or another location off site. So thanks for watching Z's Bees. Be sure to check out our next video, or it might just be right after this. Thanks.